Now we're dealing with the mouth. The mouth is for me, one of the harder features to deal with because there is so much expression, and lips vary so much from culture to culture, and of course it is so expressive whether the subject is smiling, not smiling. There are so many muscles around the mouth. It can be so easy to change the mouth to look from a smile to a sneer to a grimace. So a particular importance should be placed upon things about the mouth. And to start with, let's look at the anatomy of the mouth. The upper lip is made up of 3 muscles, and the lower lip is made up of 2 muscles. The upper lip, you've got two teardrop muscles with a rounded muscle in the middle, and the lower lip is made up of 2 square, more pillow-like muscles that meet in the middle. So taking that into account, and you think about the shape, and if you were to follow a form, you can see how the lip can quite comfortably show that shape by just following the contours of the muscles that underlie the form. So when you're drawing the mouth, keep that in mind. You know that the upper lip has 3 muscles, so just run and look for it. And a lot of the shape and anatomy is in fact how to describe a form because you know that form exists. Then actually making it come to life is just because you've searched for it and you know that it's there. I mentioned in the portrait demonstration that the tone of the lower lip is very similar in tone to the skin around the lower lip. In other words, you don't want to draw a heavy lip liner because you won't see that in life. As soon as you squint, you'll notice that the tone there on the side of the lip is very similar. The temperature will be different. The lip will be warmer. The skin tone on the side of the lip will be cooler. So you might have more of a yellow ochre there versus a more reddish color, whether it be towards alizarin or cadmium red in the actual lip color. The lower lip, therefore, is defined by the underplane of the lower lip. So when you're drawing the lower lip, it's best to actually define the underplane of the lower lip with a bit of a shadow. If there is a unidirectional light coming across the lip, across the face, and hence hitting the lip from the side, as we had in the portrait demonstration, first of all, the upper lip is going to be thrown in shadow. So you know that you're going to have a darker upper lip. I have often described it as thinking about how light falls on a cliff face. So if you have a vertical cliff face and you take out an amount of rock in a V shape, that particular surface here will never catch light, which is like the upper lip. And this particular surface here will capture a lot of light, which is like the lower lip. So if you think about that and keep that in mind, you will know that you will always be throwing this upper lip into shadow. And in particular, if you think of it that there's a muzzle of the mouth here, which is on a curvature, the corners of the mouth are going to be punctuated like a full stop. And they're going to be sitting slightly darker in those corners of the mouth, and the light will be coming across the front of the mouth, and there will be more light across here, but you will find that it'll be darker in the corners of the mouth. So roughly that would be the tone of the upper lip. And you'll find as well that generally speaking, because of the way the lip tucks into that corner, there's usually a little bit of light coming in here. And it's that little bit of light that will be the similar tone to the lower lip on the side of the mouth. The line of the mouth that runs between the lips is pretty important, and it should be sought out because that defines the shape of the mouth peculiar and particular to the subject of your portrait. The lower lip, if the light's coming from that direction, will probably cast a shadow, most likely cast a shadow on one side of the lower lip, and so you'll throw that into a little bit of shadow, and similarly you'll throw the side of the face on that side into a little bit of a shadow. But that will also help define what the turning point is in the corner of the mouth, and you might have to define the underplane of the lower lip a little bit sharper. This side of the upper lip also will naturally be a little bit darker if there's the light coming in from one side, and often you will find there's a little bit of a depression between the 2 pillows of the lower lip. The upper lip, the way it is sits in life, will also usually throw a little bit of a shadow onto the lower lip. So don't just leave that hard line there. Soften that line with a slight shadow thrown onto the lower lip, and that'll actually soften the lines as well. And lastly, but very importantly, is where does the highlight fall? The highlight will generally fall here on a lower lip. So you'll leave that to be quite light, and that'll define showing where the light is falling. And similarly, you'll have a little bit of a highlight just about here on the upper lip. So where this would be the philtrum, which defines the shape of the upper lip, you'll find a little bit of highlight just across the top of the upper lip around here, because that's where the new skin is. And the new skin is, as I've mentioned before, is the area of skin just above follows the line of the upper lip, and it lacks any melanin. It has no pigmentation, so it does not acquire any tone at all and remains like a highlight. And that about covers it for the mouth.